Lighting options I have. This one's a total failure. So just in case you did not know, Coleman makes two styles of wick. So one of my subscribers told me I should get the real Coleman funnel. And why is that? Well, look inside. He's mentioned that it does have a very fine filter in there, so when you're dumping your gas, that's right. Today we need to find some light for the chuck box. So in my last video I talked about this little camp light. I was going to put lamp oil in it rather than kerosene, and just like everything else, you check it to make sure it doesn't leak. Well, it leaked right away. This whole seam on the bottom, they didn't solder it, and they didn't glue it. So this piece is folded over the edge, but it leaks all the way around that edge. So that one's a no-go, at least until I solder it. And then we've got the old standby, the gas, propane, and it doesn't have a wick in it. And looking at the price, I paid $8.99 for this one. See the price on the top there. That's a Goodwill find. And then this is a brand new one, again at Goodwill. It's a 2005 dual fuel. And what that means is you can use unleaded gas in here, which they don't sell leaded gas anymore, and Coleman white fuel. Now, what's the difference? Well, the white fuel is highly distilled, so there's no extra crap in it like gasoline. Gasoline is just going to get burned up in a car, so they don't particularly care. But this one did have a broken lens on it, and you can go buy those at any camping outfitting store. They still sell the glass for it, but obviously it doesn't have wicks. In each of the packages there were wicks though. So I had wicks with that one, and I had wicks with this one, and I've just got a whole bunch of wicks. So we're going to show quickly the best way to put your wick on. All right? So just in case you did not know, Coleman makes two styles of wick. They're both made from silk. Silk comes from the silkworm, and that was one of the big trades in ancient China, was the silk. Silk will burn, leaving a ash that doesn't fall apart. Now, it doesn't fall apart very easy, and that's what they make the mantles out of. As you see on this one, they have a metal ring, so if your fingers are cold or you have problems tying anything small, you can look for and find the type that just clips on, and then you pull this holder off after you have it in place, and then you can burn your wick. I'll show you that. But mostly you'll find this style wick everywhere. That other one, there's only a few places I've ever seen it. And what I like to do is I'll start in the middle and pull this back, getting that scrunched up a little bit. And then you can start your knot before you even put it on the mantle wick. And this is very easy, just like the most of them are. Obviously, you're not doing this when it's been hot, because about 1.2 seconds, not only will you be burnt, but you'll know it. Like I say, you see this one has a single mantle, and you see that it's basically powder. And guess what? It did have one of the metal clips holding it together. But we'll put on the tie-on one just because I only need one of them here. That's all it takes, a little bit of a puff to get rid of that old mantle. So this is a Coleman North Star. We'll go ahead and put a new mantle on it. And having that first knot in it makes it much easier to get in place. It says cut that extra string away. And that is also the silk. So now that we have it on, we need to burn it. Lots of smoke. But let's go ahead and put the mantle back in place. And this is more of a rugged lantern. Not that you can bounce any of them around, but it does have the metal cage around the glass. And that should help it if you're going out clam digging, some activity. Maybe you're chasing down a wounded deer. This does have a igniting feature on it, but it's way down there. So the first time we light this, we're going to do it with a piece of cedar. So the lighting hole is right here on the side. There you go. That will go ahead and burn the rest of that mantle. I don't have it on El Flamo, but it will go ahead and take care of the burning of the rest of that mantle, so it should be good for a good long time. Coleman North Star, single mantle. So this one's brand new. We have never had fuel in it, so we'll have to put fuel in it. But first we'll go ahead and put on the mantle with the metal ring. All right. So take the nut off the top. Obviously you don't want to touch that after it's been lit. And this style of wick is so much easier to install because you don't have to tie it. And right now it's in the open up install position. Then you just pull that off. You see how it snugs down around that. I'll go ahead and do the other one real quick. Like I say, if you got frozen fingers or you're not ambidextrous enough to tie up in that little spot, that should work for you. I guess you should use a real wooden match. Make sure you have your glass on the inside of each of those beads. Now this one does not have an igniter on it, so you do have to have your lit match or long-nosed lighter or a piece of cedar to get these to light. But first we got to put fuel in it. You make sure this is all the way off, which it is. We'll close the vent for pumping, and we'll go ahead and fill this up away from that one. So one of my subscribers told me I should get the real Coleman funnel. And why is that? Well, look inside. He's mentioned that it does have a very fine filter in there, so when you're dumping your gas, you don't get chunks off the top of the can falling into your fuel and possibly plugging up your jet. So having that screen in there is definitely going to help. So we'll go ahead and put some fuel in this. We'll see if it burps like the other one does. I'm going to tip this over just because. Nope, this one doesn't burp because it's made to let air out around the bottom of the funnel. So you do want to make sure that's off. We're going to start with the pump being closed. And like before, we'll open this 2 turns, put our thumb over the hole there, and pump this particular one up 30 times. Now you listen for the gurgle. There you go. And we'll see if it wants to light. It's still warming up and burning off that new wick. It's also heating up the generator tube, which will give it more pressure to make a brighter light. You see it's getting brighter as we speak. So there you go, quick little video on a few of the lighting options I have. This one's a total failure, but this is the one that has room in the chuck box right now. And I think at night that's going to be plenty of light. These other ones, has been my experience, when they're turned all the way up and sitting on the picnic table with you while you're playing cards, they're a little bit too bright. But you can turn them down. But it seems like the group I was with, they liked them all the way up. Thanks for stopping by. Hopefully this was informational to you. So the North Star you could use even like a night light. That's about as low as it'll go. And that's as bright as it will go. So a single mantle still works pretty good. Well, that's that. Let's call that a wrap.